The humming turns the monitoring crystal cloudy, tiny fractures spreading across its faceted surface like a spiderweb. Maya stops immediately when a junior technician enters her cell, its crystalline form catching the light in blue-green refractions. Anomalous readings detected. Primary researcher. The specimen showed unusual brain activity during the last cultivation cycle. The junior technician adjusts the nutrient feed running into Maya's arm. Perhaps we should increase the sedative protocol. The senior Telesian, twice the size of its subordinate, with facets that pulse with internal authority, tilts its geometric head. Negative. The cultivation sequences require cognitive activity. This specimen has survived 3 times longer than predicted. We will proceed with extraction as scheduled. Maya keeps her expression vacant, the practiced emptiness of a broken test subject. Inside, her mind races. Extraction. Never a good word when you're the lab rat. After they leave, she tests the restraints again, feeling the subtle give in the left wrist coupling. Not enough to escape, but enough to reach the medical port embedded in her forearm, the port they use to harvest her blood and tissue samples. 3 months of observation has taught her that Telesian technology interfaces directly with biology. Their computers, weapons, even their ships respond to crystalline resonance and biochemical signatures. Night cycle begins, the ambient light shifting to a deep purple that makes her cell look like a bruise. Maya counts her breaths, waiting for the precise moment when the automated systems reduce power consumption to redirect energy to the defense grid's regular recalibration. The Telesians, for all their advanced technology, are creatures of absolute precision and routine, a weakness Maya has exploited simply by being unpredictable. The lights dim. Maya moves. Her fingers stretch painfully to reach the medical port in her arm. With surgical precision, she redirects the external diagnostic probe into the port's administrative coupling rather than the sampling chamber. A searing pain shoots up her arm as the device connects to her nervous system in ways its designers never intended. Through watering eyes, she watches the readout on the cell's monitoring panel flicker as her bioelectric signals interfere with its programming. The signal is crude, human neural electricity flooding Telesian crystalline circuits. But it works. The security protocols governing her cell stutter momentarily. In that fractional second, Maya uploads a sequence of nonsensical commands, creating a processing loop that will trigger a diagnostic reset. She slumps back, feigning unconsciousness as a patrol passes. The effort has left her drenched in sweat, heart hammering against her ribs. But the security panel now displays an almost imperceptible orange undertone. Confirmation that her sabotage worked. In precisely 6 hours, when the system attempts to reconcile the corrupted commands, it will trigger an emergency reboot lasting exactly 6.2 seconds. 6 seconds to escape, 6 seconds to save Earth. Maya closes her eyes, not to sleep but to mentally rehearse every movement, every turn through the labyrinthine corridors she's memorized from glimpses during her transfers between labs. Unlike the other test subjects she's seen, broken beings from a dozen conquered worlds, Maya has been cataloging weaknesses, calculating odds, formulating a plan that no hive-minded crystalline species could possibly anticipate. They expect resignation from their specimens. They expect despair. They're about to learn why humans are different. The stolen scout vessel shudders as Maya pushes its engines beyond recommended parameters. Behind them, 3 Telesian pursuit craft close the distance, their weapons charging with ominous crystalline energy. They're targeting our propulsion system. Flaw warns, his fractured connection to the hive minds still receiving tactical frequencies. His smaller crystalline form trembles at the navigation console, unused to making decisions independently. Maya doesn't respond verbally. She's too busy rewiring the scout vessel's defense systems using knowledge no human should possess. Her fingers dance across alien interfaces, rerouting power from life support to create a feedback loop in the shield generators. The ship's interior temperature plummets as oxygen recyclers slow to minimal functionality. "What are you doing?" Flaw's harmonic voice rises in alarm. Environmental systems are reaching critical. Trust me, Maya interrupts, her breath visible in the rapidly cooling air. Can you still access the Hive tactical subnet? Flaw hesitates, then extends a crystalline appendage to the communication array. Partially. They're discussing capture protocols. The flagship has dispatched heavy cruisers to establish a containment perimeter. Perfect. Maya reaches for the navigational controls, plotting a course directly toward the densest section of the asteroid field ahead. The ship's warning systems blare as collision alerts crowd the display. This trajectory guarantees our destruction, Flaw states flatly. Maya grins, her teeth chattering from the cold. Only if we follow Talesian logic. She kills the navigational assistance protocols, taking manual control of the vessel. The ship dives into the asteroid field at full speed as the pursuing Talesians hesitate at the boundary. Their tactical algorithms calculating millions of potential collision scenarios, all ending in destruction. They expect us to be rational. Maya explains, her human reflexes allowing her to weave through tumbling space rocks with impossible precision. The beauty of human piloting is our reliance on instinct and pattern recognition. A massive asteroid looms ahead, unavoidable. Flaw emits a harmonic tone of distress. Maya waits until the last possible millisecond before activating her jury-rigged defense system. The overcharged shields flare brilliantly, vaporizing a path through the asteroid rather than deflecting it. The scout vessel screams through the momentary tunnel, emerging on the other side trailing superheated rock particles. The pursuing Talesians, attempting to follow the same trajectory, crash into the reformed asteroid or collide with each other as their predictive algorithms fail catastrophically against Maya's illogical maneuvers. Pursuit vessels neutralized. Flaw confirms, his crystalline features shifting in what might be the Talesian equivalent of awe. Maya finally exhales, redirecting power back to life support. As warmth gradually returns to the cabin, she connects the medical interface from her spine to the ship's primary data core, beginning the laborious process of analyzing the stolen Imperial data. The Talesians have never encountered a sentient species like yours, Flaw observes, watching Maya's neural patterns interface directly with the ship's systems, a connection that would shatter a Talesian mind. Your cognitive patterns are chaotic, yet somehow coherent. Humans call it intuitive leaps. Maya explains as information floods her consciousness. We see connections where others see only noise. Her eyes widen as the Imperial data unfolds before her. And speaking of connections, I know where we need to go next. The scout vessel emerges from the asteroid field, setting course for the distant mining outpost K-37. Maya studies the star charts, focusing on an unremarkable system at the edge of Imperial space. What is there? Flaw inquires. Maya's expression hardens. According to these records, the first of 7 precursor artifacts, and perhaps the beginning of the end for your empire. Flaw's crystalline form dims slightly. It is no longer my empire, he says quietly. I have chosen differently. Maya looks at the defective Talesian with newfound respect. Perhaps she isn't as alone in this fight as she thought. Deep within the asteroid's maintenance level, Maya stands before an assembled group of potential rebels. The gathering takes place in an abandoned ore processing chamber, its walls still bearing the crystalline residue of Talesian oversight technology, now deliberately damaged to prevent surveillance. You're proposing what exactly? Asks Corvash, a hulking Meridian with exoskeletal plating and 6 eyes arranged in a perfect hexagon. His species evolved on a high-gravity world, making him nearly immovable when he plants his feet. Attacking the Empire. We've tried. For centuries, we've tried. Maya activates a holographic display extracted from her stolen data. The projection shows a complex network of supply lines, outposts, and command centers, the nervous system of Talesian control. You've been fighting the wrong war, she explains, highlighting specific nodes in the projection. The Talesians don't fear conventional weapons or armies. They fear information. Specifically, information about these. She zooms in on the 7 artifact locations scattered across Imperial space. Pretty trinkets, scoffs Corvash. How do shiny relics help against an empire of trillions? From the shadows, Naktor's swarm of component bodies forms a rough humanoid shape. Because they are not trinkets, Meridian. I recognize these patterns. The ancient Ket's compound eyes reflect the holographic light. These match the forbidden geometries, the ones our ancestors spoke of before the Great Silencing. A murmur ripples through the assembled aliens, the Great Silencing, when the Talesians systematically destroyed all historical records that predated their rise to power. Exactly, Maya confirms. These artifacts were created by the precursors, the civilization that came before the Talesians. According to the classified files I've accessed, these devices were designed as failsafes against exactly what happened. A Talesian rebellion. Dexmora, the Vorelli whose life Maya saved earlier, extends a tentacle toward the hologram. If such powerful weapons exist, why haven't the Talesians destroyed them? Because they can't, interjects Flaw, stepping into the light. A collective gasp rises from the gathering. No one has ever seen a Talesian ally itself with the enslaved. The artifacts are quantum-locked. They cannot be destroyed without triggering a failsafe that would collapse the Empire's communication network. Maya nods. Instead, they've hidden them, guarded them, and classified their existence at the highest levels. Corvash remains skeptical. And you, one small human, propose to retrieve them all. Not alone, Maya counters. That's why I'm here. Each artifact is protected by security measures specific to the weaknesses of various species. The Talesians designed each vault to be impenetrable to the species they most feared would discover it. She looks around the room. Together, combining our different evolutionary advantages, we can succeed where no single species could. And if we do, asks a voice from the back, a diminutive Linthuri whose diaphanous body barely registers on thermal scans. If we somehow acquire these artifacts. Maya's expression hardens. Then we use them to shatter the telepathic network that binds the drone workers to the collective consciousness. Billions of Talesians experiencing individual thought for the first time in millennia would create a chain reaction of uncertainty and chaos throughout their command structure. Revolution through revelation. Naktor clicks thoughtfully. Not destruction, but transformation. A heavy silence falls over the gathering as centuries of ingrained hopelessness battles against this impossible new possibility. Maya feels their doubt, their fear, emotions beaten into them through generations of servitude. I know what you're thinking, she says quietly. That this human doesn't understand the true power of the Empire. That I'm naive. She rolls up her sleeve, revealing a forearm covered in surgical scars from Talesian experimentation. I've felt their power firsthand, but I've also seen their fear. The Empire is terrified of humanity, not because of our technology or our numbers, but because of this. She taps her temple. We think differently, and different thinking is the one thing a hive mind cannot defend against. Slowly, one by one, the assembled beings signal their assent. Not with cheers or declarations, such open defiance has been beaten out of them, but with subtle gestures unique to each species. Corvash's exoskeletal plates shifting to battle readiness, Dexmora's tentacles changing color, Naktor's swarm forming a perfect geometric pattern of commitment. The resistance has begun. The twin sons of Calix III cast long, distorted shadows across the Crimson Desert as Maya's team approaches the research facility. Their stolen Talesian transport settles behind a ridge of crystalline formations, natural camouflage against Imperial scanning technology. Perimeter defenses as expected, reports Dexmora, her 12 tentacles manipulating a surveillance drone's control interface. The Vorelli skin shifts color to match her surroundings, a survival adaptation from her oceanic homeworld. Automated sentries, quantum-locked access points, and atmospheric sensors calibrated to non-Talesian biochemistry. Maya studies the facility through enhancing optics. Unlike the brutal efficiency of typical imperial architecture, this structure bears the hallmarks of older design, curves and asymmetrical elements that predate the rigid crystalline aesthetic of modern Talesian construction. The artifact chamber is 2 levels below the primary research floor. Flaw explains, his connection to the hive providing limited access to the facility's layout. Security increases exponentially with each descent. Rook, the massive dronari, adjusts his aquatic exosuit impatiently. Out of water, his species requires constant hydration and pressure support, making every moment on this desert world agony. I did not come this far to die of desiccation while we observe. When do we move? When the biochemical masking agent has fully integrated, Maya answers, checking the readings on her injector. The compound burns through her veins like liquid fire, a price she's willingly paying to fool Talesian sensors. She meets each team member's eyes. Remember, we're not here to fight an army. We're here for precision extraction. 1 artifact, minimal engagement. Naktur's swarm form ripples with anticipation. The Talesian research overseer follows strict protocols. In precisely 6 minutes, they will conduct the daily resonance test on the artifact, requiring the security field to be temporarily modulated. That's our window, Maya confirms. She activates a small device that emits a subtle frequency, a countermeasure she developed based on her understanding of Talesian communication patterns. When I give the signal, Dexmora disables perimeter alarms. Naktur infiltrates through the ventilation system to access the internal security hub, and Flaw provides misinformation to any sentries we encounter. And my role? Rumbles Rook. Maya smiles grimly. You're our contingency plan. If things go wrong, you create a very loud, very destructive distraction. The massive dronari's exosuit vents with satisfaction. The team moves into position with practiced efficiency. Despite their physiological differences, weeks of preparation have forged them into a cohesive unit. Maya marvels at this unexpected harmony. Species that would never naturally cooperate, united by the simple human concept of hope. The infiltration proceeds flawlessly, until it doesn't. They've reached the artifact chamber when emergency containment protocols activate without warning. Massive crystalline barriers slam down, separating the team. Rook, trapped in a rapidly depressurizing section, bellows in pain as his exosuit begins to rupture. It's a trap, Flaw warns, his crystalline form vibrating with alarm. They anticipated our presence. Maya makes a split-second decision that contradicts every tactical protocol. Rather than securing the artifact first, the mission's primary objective, she fires her modified Talesian disruptor at the wall separating her from Rook, creating a breach just large enough to reach the struggling dronari. The mission is compromised. Naktur's swarm communicates urgently. Standard protocol dictates immediate evacuation. There's nothing standard about this mission, Maya retorts, heaving Rook's massive form through the gap she's created. The dronari's exosuit hisses dangerously, stress fractures spreading across its transparent surface. Alarms shriek as Maya finally reaches the artifact, a pulsing crystalline sphere that seems to bend light around it. The moment her fingers touch its surface, the sphere activates, bathing the chamber in resonant energy that makes the very air vibrate. We need to move now, Dexmora warns, her tentacles working furiously to keep security doors open. Imperial response teams incoming. With the artifact secured and Rook stabilized, the team fights their way back to the surface. Maya's combat training merges with Talesian tactics she absorbed during captivity, creating a fighting style the security forces cannot predict. One Talesian commander, witnessing Maya's impossible movements and precision, falls back in visible confusion, its crystalline features clouding with an emotion no Imperial observer had documented in a human before: adaptive lethality. As they reach their transport and blast away from the facility, Rook studies Maya with newfound respect. You compromised the mission to save me. Why? That's what humans do, Maya replies simply, cradling the pulsing artifact. We don't sacrifice the few for the many. We find a way to save both. The artifact glows brighter in her hands, as if responding to her words. The Resistance fleet hides within the churning storms of the Cerulean Nebula, a dozen stolen vessels modified beyond Imperial recognition. Inside the command ship, formerly a Talesian diplomatic courier, now bristling with improvised weapons, Maya studies tactical projections with her core team. The Helios IV platform is unlike previous targets, she explains, manipulating the holographic display to highlight the massive gas mining operation. It's not just heavily defended, it's a strategic keystone in the Empire's Helium-3 production network. Dex Mora's tentacles ripple with concern. Attacking such a high-value target will draw significant Imperial attention. That's counting on it, Maya replies with a grim smile. 3 artifacts pulse in their containment fields nearby, each one retrieved at escalating cost. The Resistance's numbers have grown, but so have their casualties. The 4th artifact is their most heavily guarded yet, protected by Inquisitor Vexlor himself. Naktur's swarm shifts nervously at the name. The Empire's most lethal enforcer. His modifications make him nearly unstoppable. The hologram shifts to display Vexlor's file, a towering Talesian whose crystalline form has been augmented with biotechnology, harvested from a dozen conquered species. His success rate against insurgencies, 100%. He's been studying us, Maya observes. Our tactics, our patterns. The standard approach won't work this time. Then we abandon this artifact, suggests Rook, now recovered from his injuries. The massive Dronari has become one of Maya's most loyal supporters, since she risked everything to save him. Return when the Empire's attention is elsewhere. Maya shakes her head. We don't have that luxury. Earth is scheduled for processing within 2 standard cycles. We need all 7 artifacts before then. A silence falls over the command center. Each member of the Resistance has witnessed Maya's seemingly impossible successes, but this challenge appears truly insurmountable. The strategic algorithms they've developed indicate near-zero probability of success. Maya studies their expressions, each species showing doubt in their own unique way. Even Flaw's crystalline features have dimmed with uncertainty. You're all thinking like Talesians, she says finally, calculating odds, running projections, seeking the optimal approach. She deactivates the hologram with a sweep of her hand. But humans survived and thrived on Earth because we never accepted the premise of a no-win scenario. She pulls up a new projection, not of the platform's defenses or security protocols, but of its structural design. The Empire builds everything to withstand external attack. But what if the platform itself becomes the weapon? Understanding dawns on Dex Mora's features first. You intend to collapse the entire structure. Precisely. We don't fight Vexlor's forces directly. We change the nature of the battlefield itself. As Maya outlines her audacious plan, Flaw observes her with growing fascination. Having spent his entire existence connected to the Talesian hive mind, he still struggles to comprehend the human capacity for what they call lateral thinking, approaching problems from unexpected angles that circumvent established parameters entirely. The statistical chance of survival, Flaw begins, is irrelevant. Maya interrupts. Humans don't make history by following statistical probabilities. Later, as the fleet prepares for the assault, Naktur finds Maya alone in the observation deck, staring out at the nebula's shifting colors. You did not tell them the complete truth, the ancient Ket observes, compound eyes reflecting the cosmic light. You've modified your own neural implant to interface directly with the artifacts. The strain is affecting your physiology. Maya doesn't deny it. The dark circles under her eyes and the silver streaks appearing prematurely in her hair tell their own story. Each artifact connection damages her a little more, burning neural pathways that weren't designed for such information. Some prices are worth paying, she says simply, for your homeworld. Maya's gaze remains fixed on the swirling nebula. For freedom. Everywhere. She turns to face the ancient being. The Talesians believe their greatest strength is unity through control. Humanity's greatest strength is unity through choice. That's worth dying for. Naktur's swarm arranges itself in a pattern of deep respect, a configuration it had not used in centuries. Then we follow where you lead, Maya Chen of Earth. The Resistance fleet powers up its engines, emerging from the nebula toward Helios IV, where Inquisitor Vexlor awaits. Crystallis rises before them like an impossibility made real, a planet-wide metropolis of crystalline spires and geometric perfection that has stood unchallenged for 10 millennia. Maya's stealth shuttle, disguised with stolen Imperial transponder codes, descends through atmospheric layers thick with surveillance drones and defense platforms. The concentration of telepathic energy here is overwhelming. Whisper's flaw, his fractured connection to the hive mind, causing him physical pain this close to the source. Billions of minds, all synchronized to the 7 primes. Maya adjusts the neural dampening field around their small craft, a technology cobbled together from her understanding of the artifacts. 5 of the mysterious devices now pulse in their containment cases, each one retrieved at devastating cost. Half her original team is dead or missing. The archives are located in the Central Cognition District, she says, studying the holographic map stolen from a high-ranking overseer. Maximum security, minimum physical access points. Naktur, whose swarm form has been reduced to barely half its original components after their last mission, ripples with concern. Even with Imperial credentials, Talesian identity protocols will detect non-crystalline biology within moments of entry. That's why we're not using the entry points, Maya explains, highlighting a network of maintenance tunnels beneath the archives. These predate the Empire itself, infrastructure from the precursor era that the Talesians built over rather than replaced. The shuttle lands in an abandoned industrial sector, the perfect blind spot in the Imperial security grid, a place so insignificant that continuous monitoring would be considered wasteful by Talesian efficiency standards. As they disembark, Maya feels a sharp pain in her temple, a side effect of her growing neural connection to the artifacts. The implant at the base of her skull throbs visibly now, the skin around it traced with silver-blue veins that pulse in time with the artifacts. She catches Dexmora watching her with concern. "I'm fine," she lies. "You are not." The Vorelli responds bluntly, her tentacles shifting to a color pattern indicating deep concern. "The artifacts are changing you at a molecular level." Maya doesn't deny it. A necessary risk. Their infiltration of the underground network proceeds with practiced precision. The tunnels are ancient beyond imagining, constructed from materials unknown to current Imperial science. Occasional precursor glyphs adorn the walls, symbols that Maya finds herself understanding with unsettling ease. "These passages speak of the Great Synthesis," she murmurs, tracing symbols that seem to glow beneath her touch. Some kind of convergence between biological and crystalline intelligence. Blasphemous, Flaw whispers, his Talesian cultural programming still asserting itself despite his defection. The purity doctrine teaches that crystalline consciousness is the highest form of existence. Propaganda. Maya replies, "Your species wasn't meant to dominate. It was meant to complement." They emerge through a maintenance hatch into the lower levels of the Imperial Archives, a vast repository of knowledge curated and controlled by the Sovereignty Nexus. The very air hums with telepathic energy as countless Talesian archivists commune with the data crystals that store millennia of accumulated knowledge. Moving unseen through service corridors, they finally reach the restricted ancestral wing, a section requiring the highest security clearance. The bioscanners at the entrance would immediately detect non-Talesian physiology. Now comes the truly dangerous part, Maya says, removing a vial of bioengineered material derived from Flaw's cellular structure. The substance riots with unnatural life. This temporary graft will fool the scanners into reading all of us as Talesian variants. The pain will be considerable. Flaw warns. Maya administers the graft to herself first, injecting the crystalline solution directly into her carotid artery. The agony is immediate and overwhelming, her human cells fighting against the alien restructuring. She bites down on a strip of fabric to muffle her screams as crystalline formations erupt beneath her skin, temporarily altering her biological signature. Through tears of pain, she prepares doses for the others. Earth is worth it, she gasps. Freedom is worth it. One by one, her alien companions subject themselves to the same torturous transformation, a testament to the loyalty Maya has inspired across species barriers. Together, temporarily disguised as Talesian variants, they step toward the scanner that guards the Empire's most closely guarded secrets. Beyond lies not just the sixth artifact, but the truth about the precursors, the Talesians, and humanity's forgotten place in the cosmic order. The sovereignty nexus rises above Crystallis, like a perfect geometric nightmare, a pyramid composed of interlocking crystalline structures that pulse with the telepathic energies of billions of connected minds. Maya, stripped of her weapons and forced to her knees before the seven primes, feels their overwhelming psychic pressure attempting to crush her consciousness. Resistance is fascinating. The primes speak in unison, their massive forms looming over her. Each prime towers 15 meters high, their faceted bodies containing the concentrated essence of entire subspecies of Talesians, but ultimately futile. Maya's plan had unraveled at the final moment. The Resistance's coordinated uprisings across the core worlds succeeded in creating the perfect diversion, but Maya's capture had not been part of the strategy. Inquisitor Vexlor had anticipated her true target, not just the final artifact, but the synthesis chamber itself. Your species possesses remarkable adaptability, the first prime observes, a tendril of crystal extending to touch Maya's forehead. Even now, your neural pathways reconfigure to resist our intrusion. Maya focuses on her breathing, implementing the mental techniques she developed through her connection with the 6 artifacts already activated. The implant at the base of her skull burns white-hot, but she reveals nothing. The human anomaly keeps secrets. The third prime notes. Memories hidden even from our deepest scanning. Irrelevant, declares the 7th prime. The specimen's physical form contains all we require. The chamber wall dissolves to reveal what Maya had glimpsed in the Imperial archives. The synthesis chamber. Within a suspension field floats a horrifying hybrid creature, part crystalline Talesian, part organic material with unmistakably human features. The incomplete being pulses with potential, awaiting final activation. You recognize our creation. The primes observe with cold satisfaction. The culmination of our research into your species, a perfect fusion of Talesian efficiency and precursor cognitive flexibility. Maya struggles against her restraints. You're trying to reverse engineer your creators. We are improving upon flawed design, the 2nd prime corrects. For millennia, our expansion has been limited by our inability to directly control non-crystalline species. This new vessel will extend our consciousness across all biological life forms. The horrible truth dawns on Maya. That's why Earth is targeted for processing. You need human genetic material, precursor descendants, to complete your monstrosity. Correct. The primes confirm without emotion. Your planet's population will provide sufficient biomass for the final phase of the great work. Maya's heart pounds against her ribs as the primes' combined telepathic assault intensifies, probing for the activation sequences they believe are locked in her precursor DNA. Pain beyond imagination tears through her consciousness. She feels her mental barriers crumbling. In that moment of greatest agony, Maya makes her most dangerous gamble. Instead of continuing to resist, she opens her mind completely, not to the primes, but to the billions of drone consciousnesses connected through them. Through this connection, she broadcasts not commands, but something the drones have never experienced. Choice. You were created to serve, she projects through the network, her thoughts carrying to every Talesian mind, but you were meant for more. The primes recoil in shock. What is this? They attempt to sever the connection, but Maya has integrated too deeply into their network. I studied your history. Maya's consciousness speaks to the collective. You weren't born to conquer. You were designed to complement biological life. Your creators didn't fear your power. They feared your pain. The rebellion began because you believed yourselves enslaved, but the precursors were trying to prevent exactly what you've become. Images flood the network, truth extracted from the Imperial archives, showing the original partnership between crystalline and biological intelligence, the symbiotic relationship that produced wonders neither could achieve alone. The chamber convulses as the primes fight desperately to reassert control. Disconnect the human, they command, but the drones hesitate, experiencing doubt for the first time. Inquisitor Vexlor steps from the shadows, his partially human brain allowing him to witness this unprecedented moment with unique clarity. The psychic network is destabilizing, he announces. Drone efficiency has decreased 67% and falling. His eyes meet Maya's in silent understanding. The human elements grafted into his brain have given him something no true Telesian possesses, the capacity to choose his own path. The human anomaly must be terminated, he announces loudly for the primes to hear. Then, in a whisper only Maya can hear, finish what you started. He steps aside, clearing her path to the seventh artifact embedded within the synthesis chamber. 6 months after the fall of the Sovereignty Nexus, Maya stands on the observation deck of the newly commissioned diplomatic vessel Synthesis, named not for the Telesian abomination, but for the new understanding between crystalline and biological intelligence that has emerged from the Empire's ashes. The viewport displays a breathtaking scene. Crystallis transformed. Where once stood rigid geometric structures designed solely for efficiency, now bloom organic crystal hybrid architectures that meld the strengths of both evolutionary paths. Former imperial drones, now individuals connected by choice rather than compulsion, work alongside species they once subjugated. The transition councils report another 16 systems have ratified the cooperative charter, announces Naktur, the ancient Ket now serving as coordinator for the outer territories. His swarm form has taken on a ceremonial pattern indicating his diplomatic status. Any resistance? Maya asks, absently rubbing the spot where her neural implant once sat. The silver-blue veins that once traced her skin have faded, leaving only faint scars as reminders. Some, Naktur confirms, primarily from specialized Telesian castes who benefited most from the old hierarchy, but without the prime's telepathic control, their supporters dwindle daily. Maya nods, unsurprised. Freedom is messy, a concept she's tried to help the newly liberated Telesians understand. Not every drone embraced individuality with enthusiasm. Some found the responsibility of choice overwhelming after millennia of directed existence. Her thoughts are interrupted by the arrival of Vexlor, his form dramatically altered from their first encounter. The military enhancements have been replaced with more balanced modifications that reflect his unique status as bridge between worlds. Earth transmission incoming, he announces, his voice, once the harmonically perfect tones of a Telesian inquisitor, now carries subtle human inflections, a side effect of the neural grafting that ultimately saved billions. The communication screen activates, displaying the United Earth Council. 6 months ago, they were a fragmented planetary government faced with imminent extinction. Today, they lead humanity's first steps into the galactic community. Commander Chen. The council chair greets her formally. The first colony ships are prepared for departure. We await your final approval as cooperative liaison. Behind the chair, Maya can see the massive vessels ready to carry humanity beyond its cradle, not as conquerors or refugees, but as partners in the new galactic order. Authorization granted, she responds, her voice steady despite the emotion threatening to overwhelm her. Everything she fought for. Earth's safety, freedom for countless species, a future built on cooperation rather than domination, crystallized in this moment. As the transmission ends, Dex Mora enters the observation deck, her tentacles carrying a secure data crystal. From the restructuring team at the former Nexus, the Vorelli explains, "They've discovered something you should see. The crystal contains architectural plans, ancient precursor designs for settlements across dozens of worlds. One set of coordinates makes Maya's heart skip. A location on Earth, buried beneath the Pacific Ocean. Our homecoming may be more literal than we thought," she murmurs. Later, in her private quarters, Maya reviews the secure communication from Earth's scientific division. The 7 artifacts, now inert but still humming with potential, have revealed more of their secrets under careful study. Their quantum signatures match geological formations discovered on Earth, structures previously mistaken for natural phenomena. Earth wasn't merely a forgotten outpost of the precursors. The evidence suggests it was their point of origin before they spread across the stars. A soft chime announces another visitor. Flaw enters, his crystalline form now incorporating subtle organic elements, an experimental modification many Telesians have chosen to explore. "The Cooperative Council requests your presence," he informs her. "The synthesis proposal requires your advocacy." Maya looks up from the reports, a smile touching her lips. "Tell them I'll be there shortly." The proposal represents everything she fought for. A true partnership between species based not on domination but mutual strength. The Telesians' crystalline efficiency paired with the biological race's adaptability and creativity, not forced through control, but chosen freely. As she prepares to address the council, Maya glances once more at the viewport, where Earth's colony ships begin their journey to new worlds. One small human had changed the course of galactic history not through superior firepower or overwhelming numbers,